Hello everybody, this is Dr.G.P.Sudhakar, Professor of Management from India. Right, so in this specific video, we are going to discuss about operations. We are going to discuss about operations. We keep hearing this specific word, right? Operations and projects we keep hearing. So as part of this video, we are going to discuss what is the definition of operations, what are the different categories of operations like service operations, manufacturing operations, followed by what is the typical operations life cycle structure, followed by what are the different operational tools and techniques being used in operations. Also we are going to learn as part of this specific video, right? See, basically, what is the definition of operations? Basically, operations are repetitive activities being taken place in any business organization. Operations are nothing but the repetitive activities being taking place in any business organization. What is the characteristic of operations? Operations, they keep continue. They are repetitive in nature. The distinction between operation and project is projects have got certain time limit. Projects have got certain begin date, end date. Whereas operations don't have like begin date, end date. They are continuous. They are repetitive in nature. Operations. Operations are repetitive in nature. That is the difference between operations and project. Right. So, day-to-day activities being taking place at any business organization, nothing but the operations. See, operations can be categorized into two different types majorly. One is service operations, other one is manufacturing operations. One is service operations and other one is manufacturing operations. Right. Service operations can further be decomposed into, service operations can further be decomposed into technical support, customer support, sales support, right? See, what is the technical support? Basically the organizations like Microsoft, Dell, HP, IBM, these kind of organizations, what they provide is the technical support. That also comes under operations, service operation, right? The second category is the customer support. Customer support is the organizations like mobile operators like Airtel, Vodafone, these kind of Geo, these kind of companies provide customer support. That also comes under the service operations, right? Third kind of support is the sales support. Sales support is the automobile manufacturing companies like Toyota, Honda, Maruti. These kind of companies, what they provide is the sales support. Sales support, right? So like this, service operations can be categorized into three different types: technical support, customer support, and sales support, right? So what is the output of service operations? Basically it is the customer value generation. Customer value generation is the output of service operations, or the customer experience creation is nothing but the output of the service operations. Service operations, right? So let's move on and see what is the manufacturing operations. Manufacturing operations. See, in any manufacturing firm, for example, steel manufacturing company or cement manufacturing company, or iron manufacturing company, any manufacturing company will have operations, right? So basically, what all will be part of manufacturing operations? First one is inventory management will come into picture. Raw material inventory management will come into picture. Next, production planning, production scheduling, right? Transportation of raw material and also transportation of finished goods, that is a part of operations. Similarly, logistics, right? Supply chain, all these aspects will come into picture when we say manufacturing operations. Manufacturing operations, what is the main objective of manufacturing operations? To reach the finished good or product to the customer doorstep. That is their main objective. That is their main objective. They want to deliver the finished good or product to the customer doorstep. That is the manufacturing operations main objective, right? So like this, operations can be categorized into service operations or manufacturing operations, right? Now let's move on and learn what is the operations life cycle. Operations life cycle. See, basically operations start with operations strategy. Operations strategy. Operations strategy is one of the functional strategy in a business organization. No, it is derived from the corporate strategy. Operations strategy is one of the functional strategy. Right. First, we start with the operations strategy. Based on that, we devise operations plan. Based on the operations plan, we devise operations scheduling. After scheduling, we carry out the operations. Next, we will evaluate operational efficiency or effectiveness. Operational efficiency or effectiveness. Is it effective? Whatever are the operations being taken care, being implemented. Like this, operations undergo certain life cycle, starting with operations strategy, operations plan, operations scheduling, carrying out the operations, and evaluating the operational efficiency. So like this is the typical structure of a operations life cycle. Right, now let's move on and see what are the different tools and techniques being used in operations. What are the different tools and techniques being used in operations? See, there are so many techniques, scientific techniques, mathematical techniques, statistics oriented techniques being used in operations. For example, EOQ, economic order quantity. You know what would be the reorder level to know economic order quantity is one of the technique being used in operations. Similarly, JIT, just in time inventory, just in time raw material. This is another technique being used in operations. Right. Another one is Jugaad. So this is the one which was championed by our ISRO. Jugaad, that is product development with minimal raw material or minimal resources under uncertainty, encountering risks. Under uncertainty and risk, developing a product with minimal resources. That is nothing but the Jugaad concept. This was championed by ISRO. Right. So like this is also one of the operations technique. Right. Next one is routing algorithms. They are also being used in operations. For example, supply chain logistics, they use it. Similarly, linear programming, to know the optimum levels of quantity, optimal level, how much we should produce, how much is the raw material we should use, optimal levels in the organization, to know linear programming techniques are being used. Similarly, routing algorithms, similarly traveling salesman problem, some of the other mathematical models, trend techniques, trend analysis. Like this, different techniques are being used to know the how much to produce in order to meet the demand in the market. So all these tools and techniques are part of operational management. Right, there are certain tools, software tools as well in order to manage the operations. There are supply chain management tools, there are logistics tools, scheduling tools. All these tools can be used in the operations. Similarly, technologies like GPS technology, RFID technology, these kind of technologies are also being used in logistics nowadays. Right. So like this, operations tools and techniques are many techniques are used in effective operations. Right. So let's move on and see a couple of examples. See, for example, operations flow at E-Seva or Me-Seva. These are there in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh states, right? E-Seva, Me-Seva. That is nothing but the service operations being taken place on the operations floor, right? So next example is retail bank operations at Standard Chartered Bank. This is also another example of operations, banking operations. So like this, so far what is that we have discussed? We have started with what is the definition of operations. We have seen what are the different categories of operations. We learned that service operations are there, manufacturing operations are there. Similarly, we have seen different operations life cycle, also typical structure we have seen, followed by different tools and techniques being used in operations also we have learned, right? Thank you everybody.